Hello and welcome to another recap of one of my games. It's a bit of a special one this time. This is my game from episode 4 of BBC's Chess Masters against Kel. I thought it was a really good episode, really enjoyed it. And yeah, I hope you guys watched and enjoyed it as well. And obviously you don't get to see much of the game. I know that they're catering for people who don't know much about chess. It doesn't focus too much on the chess. But that's why I'm here, never fear. I am going to go over my game with Kel and talk you through my thought process and what it was like. And I've got a few clips of the show in here as well, just in case you haven't watched it. I know people from other countries outside the UK can't watch it, so maybe you'll appreciate the clips. So I was the white pieces, and Kel is a lad from Bolton. I believe he's about 40. A really strong player. He's been playing for about 20 years. He's pushing on 1900 ECF. The Guardian actually did a report before the show started saying that he was on paper the strongest player in the contest, and that he had beaten a couple of 2000 ECF players in classical games coming into the contest. And he plays mainly Blitz and Bullet online. He's about 2200. So, yeah, I'm dealing with a really serious player here. He's really good. And I started the game with D4. He played knight f6, c4, d6, knight c3, knight c6. Um, Normally, I would play e4 here, but I actually decided to push on because usually people won't play knight c6. Normally, what you'll see is them kind of fee and catto, and you'll get like I play what's called the same-ish, where you go e4, f3, and you attack on this side of the board. But when I saw this knight c6 move, a bit different. You don't see it very often, and I thought, okay, I'll grab a bit of space while I can. He plays knight e5, and I play knight to e4. And this is what Grandmaster David Howell had to say at this point of the game.
All right.
It's Kel,
Come here.
the self-described action man. He's taking on Craig, known as the Python. I should explain that's because he likes to slowly suffocate his opponents on the board.
Interesting.
This is a good tip for everyone at home. Control the center with your pawns. Look how he has positioned those three in the middle of the board. They'll restrict Kel's movement and allow Craig to attack down both flanks. Controlling that midfield is key.
So yeah, we got to this stage, and David really liking my start. Kel plays g6, and we're out of master lines now, which is pretty quick to be out of master lines. So yeah, kind of Kel playing a bit unorthodox, and clearly the best move here is f4. Getting another pawn in the center, and this knight really is forced back to d7. Doesn't really have anywhere to go. Obviously this pawn is defended by this bishop. This square is covered. These squares, of course, are covered. And if he goes here, well then, I mean, I can just get h3 in, or maybe even bishop e2 is better. Probably just developing the bishop with tempo. And this knight is it's pretty trapped. It's not great. He's likely going to have to go to d7 here, and I've just got this four pawn attack, and yeah, it would be super strong. But I think my problem here, the reason I didn't play f4 is I think I shot myself in the foot looking at people's online accounts before I went into this contest. Because when I sat down to play Cal, I knew he was good. I knew he was like 2200 blitz online. So I think I was scared. I was scared to go aggressive. And I just played f3 here, which, like I say, I think f4 is clearly better here. Knight f3 seems a bit timid to me, but David Howell actually really liked it, and I'll show you what he had to say.
I have to say, Kel not playing the most action man type of chess. He's hardly advanced. And it's actually Craig to create the first threat.
Okay.
Craig is threatening Kel's key piece, this knight bang in the center of the board. It might look like a fairly standard trade, but it is not. If Kel captures this knight, giving a check to Craig's king, Craig will simply take it back, jumping out with his queen. She'll be perfectly poised for action later in the game, giving Craig an advantage.
All right. Let's do it.
So yeah, David liking the knight f3 move. But yeah, Kel took, as you saw at the end of that video, my queen comes in and bishop g4 comes on the board, just attacking my queen. I'll shuffle the queen over to d3. Surely the best square for the queen. Bishop g7 comes in, and now I get f3, kicking the bishop and making this really solid pawn center. He drops back to d7. I play bishop to e3. Kel castles, and I play bishop to e2. And it was in this position. Kel played e5 here, by the way. I can play en passant, but obviously that would be a terrible move. You know, this pawn's really strong, and it was in this position. En passant, by the way, wouldn't be a terrible move if this pawn wasn't defended. If it maybe had pushed, because you know you build some pressure on the d file against this pawn. But while he's got this here, you know, I think this pawn's really strong. And basically, the decision I've got here is short castles or long castles. Now, the principled thing to do would be short castle. I mean, anyone who's a Jeremy Silman fan, and for anyone who doesn't know who Jeremy Silman is, he's an international master who's passed away now, but he made loads of books and courses for kind of amateur players like myself to, you know, developers. And he always talks about principles. And basically, a big principle he talks about is you want to attack the way your pawns point. So as you can see, my pawns are pointing in this direction. So Silman would advocate to castle short and to play on this side of the board, as this is where I have the space because my pawns are going in this direction. So, you know, I would castle short and I would begin to push on this side of the board and utilise my space advantage here. But you've got the more aggressive manner where I can castle long and I can use this f3 pawn as a pivot point to play g4, h4 and go after Kel's king, basically. So I had a decision to make here. Do I kind of play aggressive or do I play principled? And yeah, you can see my decision here.
He wants action.
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
Okay. Right.
Wow, and the moves are now coming really fast. The players are speeding up.
And after being really quite passive early on, Kel has gone into all-out attack mode.
So yeah, you can see I castled long there and decided to play aggressive, and you can see me pushing on this side of the board and Kel pushing on this side of the board. Yeah, that's how I decided to do it. I think maybe if I was playing a classical game, I would have probably castled short, but because it was only a 10-minute game and I wanted to kind of make it entertaining, I decided to castle long. I don't think it's a bad move at all, but yeah, it's more in my style, I think, to castle short. I'm not really kind of what you'd call a massively over-aggressive player. But anyway, Kel played a6, I went g4, b5. And so far, I'm really happy with how I played. This is the first move now what I wasn't too pleased with when I'm looking over the game, and that's queen to d2. It just looks a bit slow, doesn't look right. I mean, I think I can see my idea being that, you know, I'd like to trade this bishop off. When someone's developed their bishop this way in front of their king, what they call Defiant Keto, you always want to try and trade that off because it's the main defender of the king. And if you imagine this bishop comes off the board, these dark squares around the king become weak. So I wanted to make this battery to come here and trade this bishop off and then carry on my kingside assault. The problem is it just, you know, the queen wasn't bad on d3 at all. You know, it's kind of centralized and just feels a bit slow dropping it back to d2. I think something like just a3 would have been better, just maybe stopping Kel from progressing here. But anyway, I play queen to d2, sorry, and we get a trade here. I took back pretty quickly. You saw that in the video. We were kind of thrashing some moves out. But looking back, I do wonder if maybe I could have just played h4. Because, you know, when you've got a situation like this, opposite side castling, I'm castled on this side, he's castled on this side. Basically, I'm going to attack his king side, he's going to attack my king side. And kind of material doesn't matter as much as it does in a normal situation. You know, so even though he's won a pawn, me actually playing h4 keeps that initiative going. It keeps that you know tempo going, and the fact that I'm a pawn down doesn't really matter too much. I mean, he does get this open file now, but I mean he's going to have that open file no matter what. You know, when I recapture, the problem is it just slows my attack down a bit. So I don't think it's bad, because I believe my thinking at the time was he's going to get this open file, but I can just sit my bishop back and block his rook off. So I was thinking quite defensively, but looking back, I do wonder if maybe I should have carried on being aggressive and just going h4. But anyway, I did take back, and Kel played bishop to b5. He obviously wants to trade this light square bishop, maybe for the reasons that I just stated. He can see that this bishop's probably quite a good defensive piece for my king. I avoid the trade, go bishop to b3, and Kel goes knight to d7. And when I analysed this game, I saw it straight away, and a lot of you guys will be spotting this right now, but this is a blunder from Kel, and I've now got a big advantage. See if you can spot why. But the reason is, look at this bishop. It's got nowhere to go if I play a4. I'm attacking the bishop. My pawn's defended. The bishop, my pawn is controlling this square. I've got all these squares covered. This bishop is trapped, and I would simply be a piece up. Yeah, like I say, sitting at home and seeing this, I saw it instantly. And, you know, it's easy to sit at home and see these things, but a lot different when you're there. And that's just something I want to touch on as well is, you know, I always knew before the show aired, I always knew there was going to be a lot of trolls saying that, oh, you know, we're rubbish and this and that. I don't think people understand just how hard playing in that environment was. You know, there's a lot of good players. I've already explained how good Kell is. You know, and in my group as well, you had Talia, who played for England, is I think 2100 chess.com. Richie again played nationally. I think he's strong, sort of 1900 ECF player, played for years and years. I know Lula and Caitlin in the other group both played for their countries as well. A lot of us on that show are a lot stronger than what people think. I've seen people saying, "Oh, yeah, they're 1200. They're not even 1500." We're a lot better than that. The problem you've got is, and I'll only speak to me because I can't speak for other people. But before this show, the quickest chess I played was 15 plus 10 or 30 minutes online, rapid games. I was predominantly a 15, 10 or a 30-minute player, you know, online. And, you know, I've been to a handful of tournaments, classical tournaments, but, you know, then all of a sudden I'm thrusted into this environment where it's 10-minute games. 10 minutes, that's all you've got. And you've got 8 cameras swirling around you. You know you're on national television. The pressure is insane. Like, you can't think straight. My brain was just mush for half the time. Like, it's so difficult. So yeah, it's really difficult. You know, for experienced chess players who've played in pressured games, you know, they won't think nothing of it. But you know, I'd never played under this sort of pressure before. Like I say, I've been to you know a handful of tournaments in my life, but nothing like this. It was so hard, and that's why the level of chess I think on that show is certainly below what we're capable of. And also, as well, a lot of it is the mistakes that you see are from time pressure, which you'll see later on in the game. I'll show you. But anyway, the point is I missed a4, which is an easy move to c. I played h4 here, continuing my attack. Kel played knight to c5, and I captured it, which, again, I really don't like this. I guess at the time I was just really worried about, you know, his knight maybe sitting in here or him capturing my bishop, but I literally just dropped to bishop c2, and what's he going to do? Where's his knight going to go? It just looks scary, and I think I was kind of worried for no reason. So I took it, and you know it does naff his pawns up a little bit, but I don't. I think giving up the bishop pair like this, particularly the dark square bishop, was not a great idea for me. I play a3 now. Kel plays queen to d6, and then I carry on with my kingside attack with h5. Kel plays rook a to b8, and I believe I've still got a nice little advantage here. And I believe the best move in the position was just nice car move, king b1. But I played h takes here, which looks really natural because you want to open this h file for your rook, and that's the normal idea when you attack on the king side is you push this h pawn up, and the idea is you're opening the h file for this rook. But the problem is Kel takes back with his f pawn, and now he's opened the f file for his rook on this f3 pawn. And yeah, I shouldn't have opened the rook for him. And the problem is I'm down to just 2 minutes now, and this is where I'm really starting to crack. The next idea I've got is I want to double rooks on this h file. So what I should be doing is going rook h3 to defend this pawn, but lift this rook for my other rook to come over, and double the rooks on this file and start putting some pressure. I play rook to h2. Looks crazy now. Again, it's easy to sit home. I can look and go, you know, what am I doing? This pawn is literally just under attack. But yeah, clearly I think we were starting to, you saw in the video, we were starting to thrash the moves out quite quick. And I'm a terrible blitz player. I'm not. I shouldn't have got involved with playing quick like that. And yeah, I've just made a clear blunder here. I mean, it's not the end of the world. He takes the pawn. I get to double my rooks. I believe the engine still evaluates this as about equal after he does this. I think I played the best move, which is bishop to d1, just attacking this rook. And yeah, so being a pawn down, not the end of the world. I've got some compensation in the fact that I'm controlling this H file, and he does have some weak pawns here. And he actually plays rook here. He's a pawn up, and he wants to trade. So he wants me to take and me to come and him to come down. And he's kind of starting to infiltrate my position. He's got control of this file. But actually, I just win a pawn back here with rook takes h7 because obviously the king can't take, and if he takes me now, I just take back, which is what happens. Takes. So all of a sudden, I'm back in the game. Got my pawn back. All's good. Kel plays queen to f6. Again, taking control of this f file. And I play knight takes b5. I think, you know what? I want to get rid of this pesky bishop. And I take. I don't think it's maybe not the best move, but it's also not bad. I think if I remember rightly, the engine like this, but then it kind of runs into this and kind of all feels a bit clumsy. I don't think taking that bishop is a bad thing. It does connect these pawns back up, which is probably why the engine doesn't like it. I probably should have kept these weak for the end game. But yeah, anyway, I like the idea of eliminating that light squared bishop. And as you can see, in the bottom hand corner here. Although actually you probably can't because it's cut off. But I have 20 seconds on my clock. So I like my position here, but I've got 20 seconds on the clock. I'm completely panicking and I lose the game in one move, queen to a5. A complete blunder because the queen comes down with this check. And after he comes down with a check, I stupidly just play queen to b1 straight away. And I now hang this fork, and it is game over. Here's the clip of this moment.
Check.
Kel shouts out check, and that's because the white king was hit.
Check. Oh, it's falling apart for Craig.
Yeah.
Craig struggling to cope with the speed and aggression.
Check.
And every move is a check. Incredible stuff.
Check.
After that rampage, Craig's king has been caught in the corner. Its escape route has been cut off on this diagonal by Kel's queen. All Kel needs to do now is bring his rook down, and Craig's king will be defeated.
Give up!
Never.
Okay. Checkmate.
Well played.
So yeah, as you can see, in this position, here, obviously I'm going to lose. We wasn't allowed to resign on the show, so I have no choice but to just play some stupid moves when he asked me to give up. And he comes down for checkmate, and what started off pretty well, I was fairly happy for a lot of the game, just quickly went massively downhill, when I had 20 seconds on the clock and just blundered. Like I said before coming into this contest, I never played blitz, ever. I never even played 10-minute chess. So it's something that I've worked on since the show. I was like, okay, I need to get better at faster chess. I now I try to play 1 or 2 classical games a week, and aside of that, 2 or 3 times a week, I like to just try and get some 5+5 blitz in, just to sharpen up with playing fast and bulk my opening repertoire up as well. So yeah, lessons to be learned, and obviously I was pretty gutted to lose, but it was a good game, and yeah, that was how it went down. And if you didn't watch the show, then hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. And I will analyse my other games from the show, as well as tournament games and club games, as always. So yeah, stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.